Hi, everybody. Right, with me today, oh, I'm so excited. With me today, we have Susan Cohen at ProMotion Physical Therapy and Wellness. Now, Susan has been in the physical therapy sphere for 26 years, so she's very much a specialist. She's been posting and helping members of Senior Pickleball Tips for over a year now, and she posts on there quite a lot, which is fantastic. So I just thought it'd be great to get her on the podcast and see what she's up to. And I've got a few key questions for her. So, Susan, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. I am great and so happy that you have me on today. I think it's just great to be able to share information with the Senior Pickleball Tips group. They're such a wonderful group.
They seem to be. I think we are a great group, aren't we?
Yes.
Let's just say that. So, first question, which I ask most people, is this: what's your pickleball story, Susan?
So my pickleball story is I was having more and more clients come in with pickleball related issues. And I had been working with them, and I thought, what better way for me to understand the game better than to play? And that's how it
Right.
started. I started with just a basic clinic. And I remember the first time after playing, coming back saying, wow, my hips are really tight and sore after playing. Um, and that was, yeah, really just the beginning. And since then, I've really enjoyed the cardio, the activity, the social component of it. I started playing more frequently, and it's just kind of took off from there. And now, when someone explains, they're having pain when they do something in particular, I'm like, oh yes, I know that. And it really helps me help my clients. So,
Fantastic. Yeah, I can absolutely see that. Makes a lot of sense. So, I've got a few questions for you, Susan.
sure.
Let's get into it. So, in pickleball, in your opinion, what I'd like to do is really look at sort of prevention of injuries. I think that's really a common thread in the Senior Pickleball Tips group. So, I'm going to ask you, what are the five most common injuries in pickleball, in senior pickleball? And how do we
Mhm.
prevent them? So I don't know. Do you want to list the five first, maybe?
Sure. So we'll just go from head to toe. Let's start with let's start with shoulders, uh, and elbows, low back, and then the knees and the ankle and calf. So we go right down that order. Um, if we,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So we're looking at shoulders, elbows, lower back, knees, and ankle. And this isn't a children's. It's not a children's song. Not to be
right.
confused, everyone, with the children's song: shoulders, elbows, lower back, knees, and ankle. No, it's not to do with that.
Right, but it's
So we're
very
gonna we're
similar.
gonna
Yeah.
very similar. So we're going to break this down a little bit. So I'm going to ask you, Susan, let's start with shoulders. So how do we prevent getting injured on our with our shoulders?
Well, first, if it's okay, I want to back up to what kind of injuries occur in the shoulder, most common. So um, it could be a little bit of a strain. However, what people come in with initial is when they reach overhead, they have some pain in their shoulder. And it just starts that way. Um, and that is the first sign that there's an impingement in the shoulder.
Right.
And that's usually this tendon that comes through this little bony area in your shoulder, and it gets
Yeah.
compressed. And if that impingement isn't addressed, then it can lead to a tendonitis. Then they're
Right.
having more pain, and it's kind of, it refers down their arm. And then the next step from that, which is where no one wants to be, is having a frozen shoulder.
I've heard about those. Yeah.
Yes. So the earlier it's kind of nipped in the butt, the better your outcome is going to be, the quicker recovery and just getting back into pain-free motion. So there's a couple reasons. One is just pickleball in itself. There's a lot of overhead reaching and smashing, um, and if you don't have the proper stability in the shoulder joint, And if you're even just a little bit round shouldered, it kind of sets the shoulder in a position that can rub the tendon more.
Right.
So the rounded posture is some just from our daily activities that we tend to be more rounded. The other is weakness in your upper back and your scapular region that actually helps to pull you back.
Right.
So that's kind of the origin of how it kind of begins.
Right.
Um,
So prevention then.
so yeah, for preventing, you want to strengthen all of the rotator cuff muscles. And you want to make sure that you're doing postural stabilization exercises as well, which is that scapula area. So you're doing rows and lats, and there's so many other exercises that we can do to help strengthen those postural muscles, because that's going to keep our well, humeral head inside the right socket in the right
Yeah.
alignment, and minimize that. As well as stretching. It's so important with all of these areas that you want to have a balance of flexibility and stability. It's that balance that is key in preventing
Absolutely. Okay.
injuries.
Well, that is really good. I mean, personally, I don't have too much trouble with my shoulders, but one of my very good friends, Eamon, has terrible trouble with his right shoulder. Um,
Mhm.
and that's one of the reasons he's moved into pickleball, because he doesn't have to serve a tennis ball. But
Mhm.
obviously, smashing can be difficult. So let's move on to elbows.
Sure. So elbows, it's always elbow tendonitis, the tendonitis, which is known as, they call it pickleball elbow, tennis elbow, lateral epicondylitis. Anything with that itis at the end is an inflammatory issue. And that a lot is, again, you don't have a good stability around your elbow joint, and it's the repetitive motion. So there are certain things that you can do to help minimize that. One is strengthening your forearm muscles, doing stretching, especially after, making sure that you're stretching out after you've played.
Right.
Some people, if they're starting to have symptoms, really don't wait too long. There's like a little brace that you can wear at part of your elbow. That also can help. And then a big thing too is your grip. You've heard over and over that you shouldn't hold your paddle too tight.
That's right.
So trying to get used to holding it lighter. And there's also this really cool like grip that you could put over your pickleball handle. It
Okay.
looks almost like a waffle. And I don't use it myself, but I've played with other players that use it just because they have that history of the tennis
That's
elbow, pickleball elbow.
that's very interesting. So I could imagine a lot of beginners are gripping, they got a death grip on their
Hmm.
paddle, and that is
Hmm.
leading to could lead to some elbow problems.
Right. And in turn, sometimes they're gripping it so tight because they don't have all that shoulder stability. So they're trying to get it lower down the chain.
Yeah.
And then they're going to grip tighter because they don't have that power in their shoulder. So again, you're all attached.
Yeah,
So
and
one, yeah.
most pickleball shots, you're looking at a grip of about 3 to 4 at a scale of 10.
Mm,
So bear that
mhm.
in mind, folks. Fabulous. Okay, let's look at the lower back. We've all got lower back pain, including Paddy. So this is a big one,
Right.
I think,
Right.
Susan.
So again, the reason for it is all the twisting in pickleball, the reaching out far to the side, which that I'll just take a quick note is better agility will get you in front of the ball rather than reaching too far
Yeah,
out. So
yeah,
that's just a side note. Um, and it's the preventative is keeping a strong core, knowing how to engage, when to engage, kind of making it part of your play. Um, and the strong core, the flexibility, again, we go to that balance between flexibility and strength. And for your back, it's very important. Hip tightness can also cause back pain. So you have to keep those hips loose because they have muscle attachments to your low back.
yeah, yeah,
So doing hip openers, and you're going to focus on your weaker area. Not everybody's going to be doing every joint in the body, but you know what your triggers are, where
sure.
the issues are, and that's where you're going to bring in your focus when you're preparing to play and improve your game.
Yeah. So prevention then of lower back pain. I know a lot of people just
Yeah.
have lower back pain from, all kinds of reasons. I played rugby a lot in my youth, and I had four
Okay.
kids, picking them up and putting them on my shoulders for
Uh-huh.
many, many years. So my back is completely done in. However, how can we prevent it or make sure it doesn't get any worse?
So again, going back to making sure that you have core exercises as part of your program that you do on a regular basis, and keeping it flexible, as well as the hips flexible, because again, of those attachments to your low back. So those are like the three major things: working on your low back. And even as we get older, sometimes we have more stiffness in our upper back too. And again, think of that as a cable coming all the way down. So if you're stiff in your upper back, it's going to make the lower back work even harder. And all that rotation comes from your entire spine when you're playing. So again, if you have back issues, Patty,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you're not just doing the low back stretches, but that you're getting some thoracic motion in there too,
Yeah.
and your hips for the
And
flexibility part.
this is 24/7, isn't it? I mean, I have this terrible habit of walking almost with a stoop.
Mm.
I'm 67 now. Am I
Mhm.
67? Am I 67 or 66? I'm still
Oh, it's just a number,
one of
Patty.
those.
Don't worry
I'm
about it.
one
Just
of
a
those.
number. That's
And
okay.
and I walk with a stoop, and every now and then, look, Paddy, pull your back
Yeah.
up. So it's
I
it's
mean,
something you have to think about all the time, isn't it?
well, yeah, for sure. But now, looking at this is focusing on seniors. So seniors are coming in with diagnoses such as stenosis of their spine. Maybe they have a history of, um, herniated disc or bulging disc. So, they're coming in already with a little bit of instability. So really focusing on that core strength to minimize that back pain,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
and have more power in their shots because it's coming from that base core. So any shot you make, it's really making sure that that core is tight um, throughout. So
yeah,
it's
absolutely. Completely agree with you. Thank you so much. Now, number four, knees.
mm,
I just feel my knees are clicking a little bit as I go down the stairs. They're just starting. So
okay.
let's talk about knees, Susan.
All right. So knees, the reason we have so many issues with knees is all the lateral motion when we play pickleball. Um, and that lateral motion puts a lot of torque on the knee joint. Again, with seniors, they're coming in again with some parts that are a little bit worn,
Yeah,
and we need to address the reason why. Um, so it's it's important. So for prevention, it's important to strengthen the muscles around the knee. Now, we have to remember that the muscles that stabilize the knee start at the hips, a lot of them, the big
right.
muscles. So they
Okay.
start at the hip and they go past the knee joint. So when you do exercises to strengthen your hips, you're actually improving the stability in your knee.
Okay.
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 So that's something that's really important. And then, of course, having good court shoes that have sufficient lateral. I mean, that's also for the ankle too, having that really good lateral support in your court shoe.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I'm sure we're going to pick up on that another time. That's really great. Now, the last one, number five, ankles and calves. You say that they're
Yes.
related.
Well, they're related because your calf muscle comes down and your gastroc comes down into your Achilles tendon, which that's where I get a lot of people complaining about the Achilles tendon and tendonitis. And that happens in pickleball because of the power, that impact when you're moving around the court. So
Yeah.
your calves are working really hard. When you want to have quicker motion, you're going to be more on your toes, and being on your toes when you're moving around the court puts a lot of work into that calf muscle. So if you don't have a good strength, it's going to pull more onto that tendon and cause issues, as well as when you're doing a high impact, a power move, that calf, if you don't have that flexibility, you're going to
Yeah.
cause a sprain in the calf muscle itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
So prevention, but before we get on to prevention, I mean,
mhm.
I have had a lot of problems with my calves, cramp, and tweaks, I call them. I haven't actually torn the muscle, but a tweak. And
Hmm.
I'd get a tweak. I used to play a lot of tennis, so I'd get a tweak on the tennis court, and people would say, "Paddy, stop now." Is that correct?
Um, well, no one can be in your head to understand what kind of tweak it is.
Yeah,
So, if it's a tweak that is, if it's a, sorry, if it's a tweak that comes real quick and it's, I always go on this scale of 0 to 10. Like, is
yeah,
it a 7 tweak and then doesn't go away? Or is it
yeah.
like a little 2 and then you take a few more steps and you kind of work it out?
Yes, yes, yes.
So if it was something really severe after you just did a real power, reach and kind of impact, then I would
Yeah,
say, go walk it off, take a little
yeah.
bit. But if it's something that happens and then within, the next 30 seconds it's gone, I wouldn't worry about it as much.
Right.
Um,
Keep an
but
eye on it.
yeah,
Yeah,
make sure that you are doing, your flexibility exercises for your ankle and calf, and as well as strengthening to keep that is a
yeah,
powerhouse. That's a powerhouse muscle in pickleball, that
yeah,
calf.
yeah, yeah. So the prevention of injuries to ankles and calves, again, it's strengthening, is it?
Yeah, so it's a combination of the strengthening and the flexibility. Because if you don't have the flexibility and you put your ankle in a certain position, um, it's going to pull really hard on that calf
Yeah,
muscle.
yeah.
Okay. So the flexibility and the strengthening of your calf is very, very important,
Wow.
to minimize injuries.
Well, Susan, that's been fantastic. So, folks, we're looking number one, shoulders, number two, elbows, number three, your lower back, four is knees, and five is ankles and calves. So, look, and we have those four very important words, don't we? Listen to your body. I expect you say this all the time, do you, Susan?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, guys, everyone out there, listen to your body. Listen, Susan, that's absolutely fantastic. I've got a couple of other questions I want to ask you.
Sure.
So I'm just going to move ahead and ask you these. And I'm not too sure whether we're going to cover this all in one podcast or whether we're going
Hmm.
to put it into a second podcast.
Okay.
Okay, Susan. So, thank you so much. You have talked to us about the five most common pickleball injuries and how to prevent each one, which is extremely important. Now, I wanted to ask you a question. I suspect it's a jolly good idea to have a daily routine for each of us to have an individual bespoke, if you want, daily routine that isn't too long. You don't want it an hour because you're never going to do it. But 5 minutes probably isn't really going to do much good. I don't know, would you agree a 15 to 20-minute daily routine is probably not a bad idea?
It is a phenomenal idea. And doing it on a regular basis, first of all, it's going to increase the habit of doing it, where you're almost going to feel off if you didn't do it, because it's the
Yeah,
first 30 days of doing it to really, kind of sink it into your system. Um, and the routine should include some flexibility, some strength, and agility. Kind of just, 5 to 10 minutes of each, depending upon your time of the day. And the things that you're going to do are going to depend more on your own body. Like,
yes.
that you have some low back and calf. So you want to make sure that you are definitely hitting those spots in your routine. And I would say the most important that I tell every senior I work with
Go on.
is, if you only have 5 minutes, make sure you get your stretching in.
Ah,
That is number one, because our bodies are changing and we don't have the same elasticity. So we have to push that elasticity. We have to
yeah,
make ourselves flexible. It doesn't just happen like that 20 and 30-year-old where
yeah.
they just got it. So unless you continue to do that, you will just get much more tighter. So uh, that
Very,
is
very
essential.
interesting. So stretching, if you do nothing else, do 5 or 6 or 7 minutes of
Oh,
stretching, folks. That's a
Absolutely.
very, very good point. And then if
Mhm.
you can do another 5 or 6 or 7 minutes of something else, add it up to 15, add another minute, make it 15. That can really help you.
Absolutely. And you
Okay.
can do things that you like you can mix in, do some yoga, like in your case, doing down dog is really good, doing cat and
Yeah.
camel will be really good. Of course, the ankle stretching is going to be essential for you, even if it's, if it's in the morning, you could do like the runner's stretch against the wall.
Yeah.
But you're going to make sure that you hit those points, and then your middle can be, if you have a pre-existing shoulder problem, you're going to get in some shoulder strengthening. And then again, that agility is really important. And that's going to get you rocking and rolling for the day.
Yeah.
It's going to,
Yeah.
really get everything moving.
I mean, I know we're talking about Paddy here, but everyone has got their particular little niggles and strains, and it's important to find that those stretches and exercises that suit you. And indeed, what I've done in my 15 minutes a day, do I do it every day? Probably not, but I try. But what I try and do in my 15 minutes a day, what I've added, interestingly, is I'm not. I went to the physio once because of my back and my calves, and he got me lying on the floor, knees up on my chin, and rocking.
Mm.
And he said, try and do 25 of those a day. So I've just kind of plugged that into my daily routine, which for
Hmm.
me seems to work. So I suppose everyone's got their thing. Um, yeah. So how long is your daily routine, Susan? There we go.
So sure. So my daily routine varies. Um, Always stretch. So my alarm goes off. And while I'm half asleep, even I'm laying in bed and I'm doing my hamstring stretch, my trunk
Oh, that's
rotation,
a good
my
idea.
loosening up my hip. So I'm kind of just there, but it's like during that wakening time. Um, and really focus mostly on my back and my hips because that's where I tighten the most. And then I get out of bed. And then later on in the day, I always have. I mean, my job is actually pretty active. So
Yes.
I really always get to fit in some exercise. But I also like to go to the gym and do a program, and that might happen like 2 to 3 times a week that I'm at the gym.
Yeah.
Between squeezing in pickleball and also family and dog and life itself. So, um, but yeah, that is definitely. I usually do shoulders. Is my
Yeah.
too. If I'm going to fit in something, well, actually, shoulders and back. I always want to get in my shoulders and back
Yeah.
for me.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I do, which is a bit zany, is that when I'm standing around not doing anything, like for example, when I'm boiling the kettle,
Mhm.
I do a few crazy things. I just sort of stand on one leg, and apparently standing on one leg is fantastic for you.
Yes, that is great.
I stand on my left leg and then I sort of rock and roll a bit and just do what I can.
Uh-huh.
And then the next time I boil the kettle, I'll stand on my right leg and I'll try and stand on it as long as it takes to boil the kettle.
Okay, that's
So it's
good.
little things like that. If you add them
Yes.
into your daily routine, that's even I'm sure there's even stuff you can do when you're in a traffic jam in the car and things like that.
Neck stretches are great when you're in the car.
Yeah,
And it's funny for the single leg. I always tell people you brush your teeth every day. So if you're brushing your teeth for 2 minutes, stand on one leg while you're brushing and sit on
good
the other.
idea.
Because again, it's something you do every day.
I
That
can
single leg
see
balance. Yeah.
I can see 95,000 members of Senior Pickleball Tips from now on brushing their teeth on one leg. I can imagine
Absolutely.
that. That's fantastic. All over the world, I can
There
see
you
that.
go. Right.
Susan, thank you so much. That was so brilliant, having a daily routine. So thank you for that. That's fantastic. And really like to see you again on the podcast to talk about other fitness things. So thank you so much for your time. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to meet you and talk about all this stuff that I'm so passionate about.
Great. Now, guys, today we have back with us Susan Cohen from Pro Motion physical therapy and wellness. She's been in physical therapy for 26 years, so she knows what she's talking about. And we've had a couple of podcasts on common injuries and doing a daily exercise routine. And today, I want to ask her a very simple question. Hi, Susan. How are you doing?
I am great. Thank you for having me on, Patty.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Right. Question today, Susan, is there are differences in the exercises that one does before playing pickleball and after playing pickleball from a senior's point of view. So I just wanted to talk to you about that because they are quite different. You've got to be a little bit careful. You don't want to be doing one type of exercise at the wrong time. So can you just talk through that? Sort of maybe start with before you play pickleball, what
Sure.
kinds of things should you be doing?
So before playing pickleball, you are getting prepared to play. After pickleball, you're focused on a recovery.
Right.
So when you're prepping to play pickleball, think of your body as a car engine. You don't just drive. You turn the car on, you wait a little bit, and then you start to drive. So it's the same thing. When you are starting to play, you want to do dynamic stretching. So that means stretching with movement. And it is increasing the circulation to
Yeah.
your muscles. It's also increasing the lubrication in your joints, which is very important for ease of movement when you're on the court. And as a matter of fact, it kind of increases your neurological responses, which will improve your balance on the court,
Right. Okay.
and help your agility. So some things you can do are arm circles, leg swings. I like to do a lunge with a twist because then I'm getting my hips, I'm getting my back. So
Yeah.
it's like a combination. Doing some heel raises to get that calf warmed up. And again, it's not that prolonged stretch. It's the motion, controlled
Yeah.
motion. And those are just a few that are really good to get you started. And again, it's like getting your engine ready. You're just, want to
So,
warm up everything.
so interestingly, I mean, we know the importance of stretching, but just before you go on a pickleball court, sometimes you see people stretching out quite, how can I put it, vigorously before they get on a pickleball court. Now, I understand that's not the best idea. Is that correct?
That is correct. So if you are doing a prolonged, like long static stretch before you get on, it actually makes the muscle weaker.
Wow. Okay.
So it is not a good thing to do before, but it's phenomenal to do afterwards.
Yeah. Well, we'll get onto that in a minute.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. So it's basically, how can I put it it's running about, swinging your arms, lifting your knees up as you run,
You do a lateral shuffle.
making yourself look really stupid before you
Yes,
get on a pickleball court, really,
yes,
isn't it?
absolutely. Do
Yeah,
it as a group. Do it
yeah,
as a group. Hey,
do
we're
it
gonna
as
do
a
our
group.
dynamic stretches. Do the lateral shuffle. You play some
Yeah,
music. Get
yeah.
all warmed up.
I don't know. I know 90% of the members of Senior Pickleball Tips are from America, and we do have some UK members. And I don't know if anyone remembers Monty Python's Flying Circus with the Ministry of Silly Walks.
Mhm.
But that's the kind of thing we need to do. So check it out, the Monty Python's Flying Circus, the Ministry of Silly Walks.
uh,
But on a serious note, I remember talking to someone, I can't remember who it was about this, and they were saying they came across quite a few people who were too embarrassed to do these sorts of movements before getting on court. Have you come
right.
across that?
So yes, I have, and I know when I play, sometimes I'll stand off to the side, but a lot of times I'm lucky that the place that I play is only 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So before I even leave my house, like I mean, and this is not for everybody, and I'm not pushing this, but I love to jump rope.
Okay.
And so I'll jump rope for a few minutes because it's getting my shoulders, it's getting my arms, it's getting my calves, try to keep it real low. And then I do some of the other exercises as well that we spoke about. So if that is a possibility for you, it's better to do that than not warm up at all.
Yeah.
without a doubt.
What a great idea. And how about, I mean, obviously not everyone, but quite a few
Mhm,
people will arrive to pickleball in their car.
mhm.
Um, I mean, dynamic warm up is probably quite difficult in a car, but is there anything you can do in a car?
Well, in your
It's
car, I mean,
safely, I
yeah,
might add,
yeah.
safely.
So you could start with like toe taps. You can rotate your upper body from
Yeah,
side to side, do some twisting. You could even do some reaching with your arms.
yeah, yeah,
So there definitely are some things that you could do with your legs, even like just kind of rotating out and in a few
yeah,
times,
yeah,
sitting on the side, turning so that you're still protected from view, but putting your legs outside
yeah,
the car. You can even do a seated march.
yeah. So there's,
Or
yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
even standing next to your car, you could do leg swings before you walk in,
Yeah,
if that's
fantastic.
seems a little more private for you.
Yeah. So if you're on the way to pickleball, folks, and there's a bit of a traffic jam, use it as an
There you go. Do
advantage.
shoulder rolls,
Who cares what you look like? Let people wonder what you're doing. So that's fantastic.
Right.
Great. So that's the sort of thing before you play.
Mhm.
So we've played pickleball. We've had a great time. We're walking off the pickleball court after our session. Because obviously a lot of the time, you might play 15, 20 minutes and have a little break and then go on again. But after the whole session,
Mhm.
we're walking off. What kinds of things should we be doing?
So now we want to focus on recovery. So we want to do static stretches, which is
Right,
something that you might be holding, a stretch that you're holding for 20 to 30 seconds a few times. Um, the static stretching does a few things. One is it helps to rid the muscles of the lactic acid that we just built up.
right.
So we're not going to have that same soreness the next day. Just it's also going to help us improve our flexibility because now our body's really warmed up. You're going to get a much deeper stretch after than
Right.
before. So it's keeping the joints mobile, it's keeping the muscles more elastic. So it's really good for that. And again, that it's going to decrease the soreness the next morning and the stiffness that people tend to wake up with the next morning. It's going to help minimize that doing the static stretching after play.
So this is where you see some people really going for the stretching. They're stretching, back, shoulders. They're stretching, legs and arms.
Mhm.
And that's the time to do it.
Absolutely. That's the time when you should spend a little bit even more time. Like your warm up could be, 5 minutes.
Okay.
And that's okay, because you're just getting everything moving.
Yeah.
Um, Afterwards, really enjoy the moment. Try to enjoy that downtime, feeling good about stretching because it usually does feel really good. And
Yeah.
you're not hurried to get to the game either. You're not looking at the clock, hopefully, like I gotta, the game starts soon.
Yeah.
So take your time, enjoy the moment, and relax into the stretches. Focus on your breathing. The breathing is also going to help clear some of that lactic acid out, and kind of level out your system.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at a sort of minimum of 5 minutes before you play,
Hmm.
how much realistically should one be sort of stretching afterwards?
I would say 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes. And again, just take your time, relax, kind of try to relax your body into the stretches. Um, and that's something that you can do when you get home,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
wherever you're going. You don't
Yeah.
have to be at the pickleball court to do that. And that way, hopefully, you'll feel more relaxed and
Okay.
have that time. Yeah.
So I think our message to senior pickleball players is, guys, I always say guys. Guys is surely it's both sexes and all.
Right, right.
Um, Guys, look, 5 minutes before and 5 or 6 or 7 minutes after you play pickleball is surely going to make a huge difference to your rate of injuries. So,
Absolutely.
let's just do it. What do you think, Susan?
I absolutely, absolutely. Really, 5 minutes of time versus having the injury that puts you out of the game. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's so worth it. So
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so easy. We've all done it. Little elbow tweak or with me calves or something, and you're out for 3, 4 weeks, and it is
Right.
so annoying and frustrating. I'm like a bear
Absolutely.
with a sore head when I don't play pickleball. So that's fantastic
Yeah,
advice. Susan, thank you so much. It's been
you're
an
very welcome.
absolute joy. Thanks so much for coming on again to the podcast. And who knows, we might put this on YouTube as well. So Susan, tell
Yes.
me, where can people find you? Where can people know more about you and maybe follow some of your exercises and routines?
So they can find me on Facebook is one, which is, I mean, I'm always posting on senior pickleball tips. But if they want to try to just kind of scan through and find all the content, they can go to my page, which is um, uh, actually they can find it, which is promotion PT, and there is a space between pro and motion because sometimes other things may pop up. They could always post something on senior pickleball tips, and I can direct them to it, or they can message me through senior pickleball tips. And then I'm also posting the content on YouTube. And on YouTube, it's if you just put in the @ symbol and then
Yep,
type in all about pickleball, I'll
excellent.
come up on there too. So
Okay,
all
so
my
guys,
content eventually goes there.
so it's at symbol all about pickleball. That's
Mhm.
Susan Cohen at ProMotion Physical Therapy and Wellness, and she knows what she's talking about, folks. So let's listen and let's watch and let's do the stuff. And let's just remember a few minutes here and there makes a huge difference. So, Susan, thank you so much for coming on. It's been absolute pleasure. And thank you, from many, many people. I actually think if we can just change a dozen people's lives, which I think we will,
Mhm.
honestly, I really do. People will think, 5 minutes here and 7 minutes there, we can do that. And I think it'll make a difference.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks again for having me, Patty.
Okay, bye for now.
All right, bye.